At dinner I snapped, maybe Osric just can't handle a modern woman. He didn't shout, he didn't argue. The next morning, a realtor's sign stood in our yard, and by nightfall, the kids were packing boxes with him. I'm standing in my kitchen, watching Osric stare at my phone like it's going to explode. His face has gone completely white, and his hands are shaking. The photo on my screen shows me and Ivo at that little cafe downtown, sitting way too close, his hand on my arm. We're both laughing at something he said. I look happy, really happy, happier than I've looked in years. Osric finally looks up at me. His eyes are cold, like I've never seen them before. He doesn't yell. He doesn't throw the phone. He just stares. I want to explain everything, how lonely I've been, how he comes home from the auto shop covered in grease, barely grunts hello, and falls asleep watching TV. How he never notices when I do my hair or wear something nice. How Ivo makes me feel alive again, like I'm actually worth something. But Osric just sets my phone down on the counter and walks toward the door. "Where are you going?" I ask. He doesn't answer. He grabs his keys and leaves. I hear his truck start up in the driveway, and then he's gone. I pick up my phone and stare at the photo again. Ivo's smile is so warm. He always listens when I talk. He asks about my day and actually cares about the answer. When I told him about my job at the medical office, how boring it gets answering phones all day, he said I deserved something better. He said I was too smart and too beautiful to waste away in that place. Osric never says things like that. My phone starts buzzing. Text after text. The first one is from Osric's mother, Singi. "How could you do this to our family?" Then another. "Those poor children." Then my own mother. "Line, what have you done?" I feel sick. Osric must have called everyone. He's making me look like the bad guy, but he doesn't understand. I didn't plan for this to happen. It just did. Ivo started delivering supplies to our office 3 months ago. He was funny and charming, and he actually noticed me. When I mentioned that my husband never complimented me, Ivo said that was crazy because I was gorgeous. It started with just texting. Innocent stuff. Then we met for coffee. Then lunch. Then that one afternoon at the motel on Highway 9, when I felt more alive than I had in years. I hear little footsteps on the stairs. Tilda appears in the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. She's 7, with Osric's dark hair and serious expression. "Mummy, why was Daddy shouting?" she asks. I didn't realize she could hear us. "Daddy wasn't shouting, sweetheart. He just had to go somewhere. When is he coming back?" I don't know what to say. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Singi. "You've destroyed everything. They're all overreacting. It's just a mistake." The next morning, I'm at work trying to act normal. Fen, the other receptionist, keeps giving me weird looks. She's always been nosy, asking too many questions about my personal life. Today, she's practically staring. "Everything okay, Lenny?" she asks during our break. "You seem distracted." I shrug. "Just tired." But I can tell she knows something. Maybe she saw me with Ivo. Our office is small and people talk. I text Ivo during lunch. "Can we meet? I need to see you." He responds quickly. "Sure." Same place as usual. We meet at the little coffee shop on Main Street. Ivo looks as handsome as always in his delivery uniform. But he seems nervous. He keeps checking his phone and looking around like someone might be watching us. "My husband found out," I tell him. Ivo's face goes pale. "Found out what exactly?" "About us. About the texting, the meetings. He saw that photo from last week." Ivo runs his hand through his hair. "Jesus, Line, what did you tell him?" "Nothing yet. He just left. But his family is freaking out, sending me angry texts." "Maybe you should go home and fix things," Ivo says. "Talk to him. Explain that we're just friends. But we're not just friends, and we both know it. What happened at that motel wasn't friendship. The way he kissed me, the way he made me feel wanted and beautiful, that wasn't friendship either." "I don't want to fix things," I say. "Osric doesn't appreciate me. He takes me for granted. You actually see me, Ivo. You listen to me." Ivo shifts in his seat. Look, you're amazing, Lene. But you're married. You have kids. Maybe this got out of hand. I feel like he's abandoning me too. So you're just going to walk away? I'm not walking away. I just think you need to handle your family situation first. When I get home, Osric's truck is in the driveway. My stomach knots up. I find him in the kitchen, making dinner for the kids. He doesn't look at me when I walk in. We need to talk, I say. Not in front of Tilda and Bram, he replies quietly. After the kids go to bed, I find Osric in our bedroom, but he's not getting ready for bed. He's pulling blankets and pillows out of the closet. What are you doing? I ask. Sleeping in the kids' room tonight. Osric, come on, we can work this out. He finally looks at me. Can we? Because I saw those texts, Lena, all of them. This isn't just some innocent friendship. My phone buzzes. My mother again. Your father and I are very disappointed. How could you do this to those children? Why is everyone acting like I'm some kind of monster? I made a mistake, but Osric pushed me to it. If he had been a better husband, if he had paid attention to me, none of this would have happened. You're being dramatic, I tell him. People have problems in marriages. We can fix this. Osric just stares at me. I don't think you understand how serious this is. The next morning, I wake up alone. I can hear Osric in the kids' room, helping them get dressed for school. When Tilda comes downstairs for breakfast, she looks confused. Why is Daddy sleeping with us now? She asks. I feel trapped. It's just for one night, sweetheart. But I can see in Osric's face that it's not going to be just one night. Sunday dinner at Osric's parents' house is a disaster. Sini barely speaks to me, and when she does, her voice is ice cold. Gresham, Osric's father, won't even look in my direction. My own mother, Kamba, is there too, along with my sister Ida. Everyone is treating me like I have some kind of disease. So, Sini says, cutting her pot roast with sharp, angry movements, I suppose you think this is all very modern and sophisticated. I can feel everyone staring at me. Tilda and Bram are picking at their food, sensing the tension but not understanding it. I don't know what you mean, I say. Running around with other men while your husband works to support this family, Sini continues. Destroying your children's security for some selfish fantasy. My face burns. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Sini's voice gets louder. Osric told us everything. How you've been sneaking around for months. How you lied to his face. How you tried to blame him for your choices. I look around the table. My own mother won't meet my eyes. Ida is shaking her head like I'm some kind of disappointment she has to tolerate. Osric is focused on cutting Bram's meat, ignoring the whole conversation. Something inside me snaps. Maybe the problem is that Osric can't handle a modern woman who knows what she wants, I say. Maybe he's too old-fashioned to understand that marriage is supposed to be a partnership, not a prison. The silence that follows is deafening. Osric's knife stops moving. His face turns to stone. A modern woman, he repeats slowly. Yes. A woman who doesn't just sit around waiting for crumbs of attention. A woman who expects to be valued and appreciated. Eda leans forward. You always think you're so special, don't you, Lene? Like the rules don't apply to you. What rules? The rule that says I have to be grateful for a husband who barely speaks to me, who comes home and acts like I'm part of the furniture. My mother finally speaks up. Lene, stop this. You're embarrassing yourself. I'm embarrassing myself. What about him? I point at Osric. What about the fact that he hasn't complimented me or taken me anywhere or shown me any affection in years? Osric stands up slowly. Kids, go play in Grandpa's workshop. Tilda and Bram leave the table, looking scared. Once they're gone, Osric turns back to me. You want to know about modern women, he says. Modern women don't lie to their families. They don't sneak around behind their husband's back. They don't blame everyone else for their choices. I wouldn't have made those choices if you had been a better husband. The words hang in the air like poison. Osric's face goes completely blank. A better husband, he repeats. Yes, someone who actually notices his wife, someone who makes an effort. Sini slams her hand on the table. You've ruined everything for those children, everything, and you're sitting here acting like you're the victim. My mother nods. Your father and I raised you better than this, Line. I feel ganged up on, attacked from all sides. You're all acting like I committed murder. I met someone who makes me feel good about myself, someone who appreciates me. Where is this someone now? Ida asks. Why isn't he here defending you? I don't have an answer for that. Ivo has been distant since our coffee shop conversation. His texts are shorter, less frequent. When I called him yesterday, he said he was busy and would call me back. He never did. When we get home, Osric goes straight to the garage. I can hear him moving things around, opening and closing boxes. When I go to check on him, he's packing tools and equipment into containers. What are you doing? I ask. He doesn't look up. Getting organized. Organized for what? You'll see. That night, I try calling Ivo. It goes straight to voicemail. I text him, I need to talk to you. Please call me back. He doesn't respond. I lie awake in our empty bed, listening to Osric's quiet breathing from the kids' room down the hall. Everything is falling apart, and I don't understand why everyone is being so dramatic. People have affairs all the time. People work through these things. But everyone is acting like I've destroyed the world. Maybe they just don't understand what it's like to feel invisible in your own marriage. I decide to try a different approach. Maybe if I show Osric how much I care, he'll realize this whole thing was just a mistake. I bake his favorite chocolate cake and make his favorite dinner. I put on the dress he used to like, the blue one I wore on our anniversary 2 years ago. When he comes home from work, I'm waiting in the kitchen with everything laid out perfectly. What's this? He asks. I thought we could have a nice dinner together. Talk about everything. Osric looks at the cake, the candles, the fancy place settings. His expression doesn't change. Where are the kids? At my mother's. I thought we needed some alone time. He sits down at the table but doesn't touch the food. Lena, this isn't going to fix anything. Why not? We can work through this. Couples do it all the time. Do they? He finally looks at me. Do couples work through months of lying? Do they work through secret meetings in hotel rooms? I feel my cheeks burn. How do you know about? I know about all of it. The texts, the calls, the motel on Highway 9. I know about every lie you told me, every time you said you were working late or meeting girlfriends. My hands start shaking. Osric, I'm sorry. I know I made mistakes, but... Mistakes? His voice is quiet, but there's something dangerous in it. You call this mistakes. What would you call it? He stands up from the table. I'd call it choosing someone else over your family. I'd call it deciding that your feelings matter more than your children's security. I'd call it destroying everything we built together because you were bored. That's not fair. Isn't it? He walks toward the door. I'm filing for separation, Lena. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious about anything in my life. Osric, please. Everyone makes mistakes. We can go to counseling. We can fix this. He turns back to me. You don't get it, do you? You're still trying to minimize what you did. You're still acting like this is something that just happened to you instead of something you chose. I chose it because you gave me no choice. You ignored me for years. So you found someone else? Yes, I found someone who actually cares about me. Where is he now? The question stings because I don't have an answer. Ivo still hasn't returned my calls. When I went by his delivery route yesterday, his coworker said he was taking some time off. He's dealing with his own stuff, I say weakly. Osric almost smiles, but there's no humor in it. Right, he's dealing with his own stuff while you deal with the mess you both made. After he leaves, I try calling Ivo again. This time he answers, but he sounds distracted. Lena, I can't really talk right now. Ivo, please. Everything is falling apart. Osric wants a separation. Maybe that's for the best. What do you mean? I mean, maybe you should focus on your family right now. This whole thing has gotten way too complicated. But what about us? What about everything we talked about? There's a long pause. Line, I think we both got carried away. You're married. You have kids. I can't be responsible for breaking up a family. You're not breaking up anything. It was already broken. Look, I have to go. Take care of yourself, okay? He hangs up before I can respond. I sit in my perfect kitchen with my perfect dinner and my perfect cake, and I realize that everyone is abandoning me. My husband, my lover, my family. They're all treating me like I'm the problem. But I'm not the problem. I'm just a woman who wanted to feel loved. The next morning, I'm getting ready for work when I hear a car in the driveway. I look out the window and see a woman in a business suit taking photos of our house. Behind her, 2 men are putting up a sign on the front lawn. For sale, it reads, immediate occupancy available. I run outside in my pajamas. Excuse me, what are you doing? The woman looks at me with professional politeness. Are you Mrs. Henderson? I'm Janet Mills from Riverside Realty. Your husband hired us to list the property. He what? The house goes on the market today. He said you'd been expecting this. I haven't been expecting anything. I run back inside and call Osric at the shop. What the hell do you think you're doing? I scream into the phone. Selling the house, he says calmly. You can't sell our house without talking to me. Actually, I can. It's in my name. I bought it before we got married, remember? I did not remember that. Osric, this is insane. Where are we supposed to live? I don't know where you're going to live, Lena. The kids and I will figure something out. The kids? You can't take my children. Watch me. He hangs up. I spend the day in a panic, calling lawyers, calling my mother, calling anyone who might help me understand what's happening. The lawyer I finally reach tells me that if the house is in Osric's name only, he has the right to sell it. As for the children, he says, custody will depend on what's best for them. What's best for them? I repeat. Stability, ma'am. A safe, consistent environment. When I get home from work, there's already a sold sticker on the realtor's sign. The house sold in one day. I find Osric in the garage, loading boxes into his truck. Where are you taking those? I ask. My parents' house. The kids and I are moving in there temporarily. You can't just take my children and leave. I'm not taking them anywhere. I'm keeping them safe and stable while their mother figures out what she wants to do with her life. What I want to do? What I want is to keep my family together. Osric stops loading boxes and looks at me. Really? Is that what you wanted when you were texting Evo at 2 a.m? Is that what you wanted when you were meeting him at that motel? That was different. How was it different? I was lonely. I was unhappy. So you decided to blow up everything instead of talking to me about it. I tried talking to you. You never listened. When did you try talking to me, Lene? When exactly did you sit me down and say, Osric, I'm unhappy in our marriage, and we need to work on things? I can't think of a specific time. It shouldn't have been my job to spell it out for you. You should have noticed. I should have noticed that you were planning to cheat on me. I wasn't planning anything. It just happened. Osric shakes his head. Nothing just happens, Lene. You made choices. Every text, every meeting, every lie, those were all choices. That evening, I watch from the kitchen window as Osric loads Tilda and Bram into his truck, along with their suitcases and toys. Tilda looks back at the house, at me, with confused, sad eyes. I run outside. You can't do this. You can't just take them. I'm not taking them, Osric says. I'm protecting them. From what? From watching their mother destroy everything they've ever known. He drives away with my children, and I'm left standing in the driveway of a house that's no longer mine, holding my phone with no one to call. Evo's number goes straight to voicemail. I don't bother leaving a message. 2 weeks later, I'm living in a cramped apartment across town. The divorce papers arrived yesterday, along with Osric's petition for full custody. He's claiming that I'm an unfit mother because of the affair, because I prioritized my own desires over the children's welfare. My lawyer says I'll get visitation rights, probably every other weekend, but that Osric has a strong case for primaries, custody because he can provide a stable home environment. What about what I can provide? I ask. The lawyer looks uncomfortable. Ma'am, the affair is going to work against you. Judges don't look favorably on parents who make those kinds of choices. I'm scheduled to see the kids this Saturday. When I pick them up from Osric's parents' house, Sini answers the door with a cold stare. They'll be ready at 6, she says. Not a minute later. Tilda and Bram seem different, quieter. They don't want to talk about school or their friends. When I take them out for pizza, they pick at their food and keep asking when Daddy is coming to get them. Don't you want to spend time with Mommy? I ask. Tilda looks at me with serious eyes that seem too old for her face. Why did you make Daddy sad? I don't know how to answer that. Sometimes grown-ups have problems, sweetheart. But it's not your fault, and Daddy and I both love you very much. Are you going to live with us again? I don't know yet. When I drop them off, Bram starts crying and reaches for Osric instead of hugging me goodbye. It feels like a knife in my chest. I try calling Ivo one more time. This time, a woman answers his phone. Who is this? She asks. I hang up immediately. That night, I sit in my tiny apartment with its thin walls and cheap furniture, and I try to understand how everything went so wrong so fast. 3 months ago, I was a wife and mother with a house and a family. Now I'm alone in a studio apartment, seeing my children 4 days a month, with no job prospects, because word of the affair got around the medical office and they restructured my position. My mother calls to check on me, but the conversation is strained. I hope you've learned something from all this, she says. Learned what? That actions have consequences, Lene. That you can't just do whatever you want without thinking about how it affects other people. I never meant for any of this to happen. But you knew it might happen. You knew that having an affair could destroy your marriage. I thought Osric would fight for me. I thought he'd realize what he was losing and try to win me back. My mother is quiet for a long time. You thought he'd compete with another man for his own wife? When she puts it like that, it sounds horrible, but that's not how I meant it. I thought he'd realize he'd been taking me for granted. So you decided to teach him a lesson by cheating on him. It wasn't like that. What was it like then? I can't explain it in a way that doesn't make me sound selfish and cruel. I just wanted to feel important to someone. You were important, Lena. You were important to your husband and your children. You just threw it all away because it wasn't exciting enough. After she hangs up, I pour myself a glass of wine and try to figure out what I'm going to do next. The house sold quickly, and Osric moved the kids into a rental house near his parents. He got a better job at a bigger auto shop. Everyone keeps talking about how well he's handling everything, how strong he's being for the children. No one asks how I'm handling anything. The final family meeting happens at Osric's new house. Everyone is there. His parents, my sister Ida, even his brother who drove down from Minneapolis. It feels like an intervention. We need to discuss the children's future, Sini announces, like she's running a board meeting. I look around the room at all these people who used to be my family, who used to include me in their plans and conversations. Now they're looking at me like I'm a problem to be solved. The kids are doing better, Osric says. They're settled in their new school. They're seeing a counselor to help them process the divorce. They need counseling because of what I did, I say. It's not a question. They need counseling because their family fell apart, my mother corrects, because they don't understand why Mommy and Daddy can't live together anymore. What did you tell them? I ask Osric. I told them that sometimes grown-ups make mistakes that hurt the people they love. I told them that you didn't stop loving them, but that you made some choices that meant we couldn't be a family anymore. I made choices, I repeat. What about the choices you made? What about ignoring me for years? What about taking me for granted? Ida leans forward. Lene, stop. Just stop. Stop what? Stop blaming everyone else. Stop acting like you're the victim here. I'm not acting like anything. I'm trying to explain. Explain what? Osric's voice cuts through mine. Explain how I forced you to lie to me for months. Explain how I made you sneak around behind my back. Explain how I made you choose another man over your family. The room goes quiet. Everyone is staring at me, waiting for my answer. You didn't make me do those things, I say finally, but you didn't give me much choice. There's always a choice, Leanie, Gresham speaks up. You could have talked to your husband. You could have asked for marriage counseling. You could have said you were unhappy and wanted to work on things. Would that have worked? I look at Osric. If I had come to you and said I was unhappy, would you have changed anything? Osric considers this seriously. I don't know. Maybe. But you never gave me the chance to find out. Because I was afraid you'd just dismiss me. Like you dismissed everything else I tried to tell you. What did you try to tell me? I realize I don't have a good answer. I never actually tried to have a serious conversation with Osric about our marriage. I just assumed he wouldn't listen, wouldn't care, wouldn't change. I tried to show you, I say weakly. Show me how. By dressing up sometimes, by making nice dinners, by trying to get your attention. And when that didn't work, you found someone else to give you attention. Yes. The word comes out as a whisper. Osric nods. At least you're finally being honest. My mother speaks up. Lena, we all want what's best for Tilda and Bram. They need stability. They need to know that the adults in their lives are going to make responsible choices. I can make responsible choices. Can you? Ida asks. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you burned down your entire life because you were bored. I wasn't bored. I was lonely. So you decided to make everyone else lonely too, Sini says coldly. Your husband, your children, your family, we're all paying the price for your loneliness. I look around the room at all these faces, all these people who used to care about me, who used to include me, who used to be on my side. Now they're united against me, united in their disappointment and anger. What do you want from me? I ask. We want you to take responsibility, Osric says. We want you to stop blaming everyone else and admit that you made selfish choices that hurt people. Fine. I made selfish choices. I hurt people. Are you happy now? No, Osric says quietly. I'm not happy. I'm sad that our kids have to grow up in a broken home. I'm sad that you threw away everything we built together. I'm sad that you chose a stranger over your family. He wasn't a stranger. What was he then? I don't have an answer. Ivo was never really anything to me except an escape from my real life. And when my real life exploded, he disappeared. He was someone who made me feel good about myself, I say. For how long? Osric asks. How long did he make you feel good? A few weeks? A couple of months? It doesn't matter how long. It matters to me. It matters to Tilda and Bram. You traded their security for a few months of feeling good about yourself. The meeting ends with logistics, custody arrangements, visitation schedules, financial responsibilities. I'll see my children every other weekend and one evening per week. Osric will keep the house, the cars, everything that matters. I'll start over with nothing except my guilt and my regret. As everyone files out, I try to call Ivo one more time. The number has been disconnected. I sit in my car outside Osric's house, watching the warm light in the windows, seeing the shadows of my children moving around inside. Tilda is probably doing homework at the kitchen table. Bram is probably playing with his trucks on the living room floor. Osric is probably helping them get ready for bed, reading them stories, tucking them in. All the things I used to do, all the things I gave up for a man who couldn't even be bothered to keep his phone number active. I start the car and drive back to my empty apartment. On the way, I pass the coffee shop where Ivo and I used to meet. There's a young couple sitting at our old table, holding hands and laughing at something on her phone. They look happy. They look like they have their whole lives ahead of them. I used to have my whole life ahead of me too. Now I have every other weekend and Wednesday evenings. I park outside my apartment building and sit in the dark for a while, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do next. Everyone keeps saying I need to take responsibility, but I don't know what that means. I can't undo what I did. I can't bring back the family I destroyed. I can't make Evo love me or make Osric forgive me or make my children understand why Mommy doesn't live with them anymore. All I can do is sit here in my car, staring at the empty windows of my studio apartment, and admit the truth that everyone else already knows. They all think I'm the villain. Maybe I am, but at least I was honest about what I wanted, even if what I wanted wasn't worth what I lost. Lost.